Hey, welcome to Guitar Knobs, the guitars, gear, noise, and nonsense podcast, hosted today by these knobs.
Tony Dudzik, Pick Guardian.
Jared Brandon Wound Pickups.
Hey, it's me, Todd Novak. We are super happy that you are along for the ride right now to our fun time, happy show, the Guitar Knobs podcast, where we do what, Tony?
Well, we talk to people about products and specifically the boutique builders of guitars and amplifiers and pedals and pedal boards.
And we have 101 shows.
And we sometimes have 101 shows.
Yeah, that's right.
We love those.
Yeah. And speaking of all that stuff, we got somebody very special on the line right now.
Hey guys, this is Rick Sell from Pure Salem Guitars.
Hey, Rick.
Pure Salem Guitars. Man, I am happy that you are here tonight.
Me too.
I've been waiting to talk to you. I've admired your guitars from afar, and then when I was at NAMM, I got to try almost all of them, and I really didn't want to put them down. They were really fantastic. So,
Thank you.
So we're going to get into your awesome guitar building and all that business here in a little bit. Right now, we're going to hit on to some quick news. And everybody, strap in. If you're listening in the car, hopefully maybe you're listening on Spotify. If not, give Spotify a try so we can get our numbers up. And if you are liking what you're hearing and you have the chance to give us a good rating, boy, we sure would appreciate it on whatever you're listening on. Yes, all those things. Hey, I want to give a real quick call out to Jerry Mullins, one of our Facebook contributors, for posting the Guitar Fest coming up October 14th in Talmadge, Ohio.
Talmadge.
And if you're nowhere near Ohio, then just nod along and smile and say, that sounds great.
And if you're in a car, beep twice.
Yeah.
Yep.
If you are anywhere drivable distance to that, come on out. It's a great show. We did it last year, and it was super fun and lots of cool
He
stuff.
puts on a good show.
He does. All right, let's get into what's going on in our music worlds this week. Let's hear from Rick first.
Hey guys, first of all, I'd like to thank you guys for having me on the show.
Oh, absolutely, man. Glad you're here.
Yeah, I'm honored. You guys are awesome.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Your
The check's
$20 in the mail. Jinx. Why don't you share what's going on in your music world this week, besides building awesome guitars? Anything going on?
In my music world this week, it's just been a regular week, getting orders out and answering a lot of emails, doing the whole social media thing.
That's the best part.
Yeah, it's great. I started Pure Salem 5 years ago now, and in that time, I've met a lot of really interesting, cool people through social media. I was never involved in social media prior to Pure Salem, but as a business, you kind of have to have it. And now I'm like one of these people that are always on their phone. I love Instagram. I love the way that you can reach out to people and have conversations and around the world. It's a really cool platform. They all are, and I'm just having a good time. It's been a regular week. Nothing crazy.
Cool. All right. Well, that'll work. Tony, what's going on with you, buddy?
Well, I can never... I start to get a little antsy when I don't have a project in the fire. While my neck is being finished on the Tele-Custom that I'm putting together, I kind of had my eye on something that's been on auction for a while. It is listed as a 71 Mosrite Celebrity.
Ooh.
It's basically their take on like an ES335, except it's a bolt-on and it has the really cool M-cut in the headstock.
Oh, yeah.
So I found one, and every once in a while, eBay must know my patterns because they tempt me with coupons. And this was like 15% off of everything.
Those devils.
Yes. So I said, I'm just going to pull the trigger on it. And so it should be here soon. So it's a really cool, it's just the neck and body. And I guess some of the plastic parts are on there. I got it from a guy that likes to take things apart and sell the parts on eBay. But I figured, well, I might as well start with that. And then I contacted my buddy Curtis Novak, who makes really good Mosrite and Carvin AP. Is it APC pickups? I forget which the Carvin models are. But anyhow, it's essentially he's paid to have molds made. He has the rings, the molds, and everything, and we do some work back and forth together. So yeah, I got the buddy price, I guess you'd say. I'm kind of piecing it back together, but it should be a pretty cool guitar. It started off life as a red one, and it's like faded to this really cool orange color.
Oh, nice.
So it's gonna be a fun one.
That's super cool.
Yep,
That is cool. You can never have too many guitars.
well,
Amen.
I mean, our wives wouldn't agree with that, but
absolutely.
Jared, how about you?
A pretty basic thing. I got out an acoustic guitar the other day, and it was my Martin Veterans that I am so proud of and I like to play. And the strings are kind of deadish. And then I got to thinking, when's the last time I changed the strings on this thing? And then I thought about the other 3 or 4 acoustic guitars I have, and I thought, when's the last time I changed the strings on those things? And then I thought, oh man, owning all these guitars, I got to buy stock in a string company. And I have about 2 or 3 acoustics to every, or 1 acoustic to every.
That's a lot of math so far. There,
I
bud.
can't
It's
do
really
it.
rough.
I have let me start over.
You're in the
for every
twos and
acoustic
threes.
for every acoustic guitar I have 4 electrics for that one. So
top 5 answers on the board. 100 people survey.
right.
I don't know what
2
math
electric
means.
guitars.
It's voodoo math.
Anyway,
I know what it
I'm
is.
not-
You have a lot. Okay,
It's
so
a lot of
let's-
strings. It's what it
okay,
is.
it's a lot of
So it's
strings.
like, I think I got to get a hold of String Joy and work something out.
Just be glad you don't have 12 strings.
Oh
Yeah.
my gosh.
Hey, do
I have
We
one?
did a really early podcast. I feel like Steve
prodcast.
Brule. Pizza.
Broadcast. That sounds like some type of medical procedure. You don't have.
You got to get the podcast, you guys.
Can't talk today. I don't know.
Yeah, one of our early podcasts was with
String Joy.
with Scott at Stringjoy. It was really fantastic, and
I bought several E strings, IEs from him because I always break the IE.
yeah,
So I thought I'm going to buy like 20 of those. And it was about 3 or 4 years ago when I did. And then I saw him at NAMM and he says, oh yeah, you're the guy that bought like the 20 E strings. And I'm, how do you remember that?
he does. It's
He's like,
his business.
You only guy that bought 20 at a time.
yeah,
Well, who
maybe.
doesn't break those things, man?
I don't.
I don't. You got a heavy hand, big man.
Lies.
Let's see. As for me, oh yeah. So, anyways, regarding that Stringjoy episode, go back and listen to that.
That's
He
right.
was one of the first guys on, and we're big ups to Scott and continued excellent work out there.
Super
at Stringjoy.
nice guy, man.
But don't shame us for the early podcasts.
It was you
Our-
and the other guys.
Yeah, the early ones. They're collector. They're an acquired taste. And well, actually, the whole thing's been an acquired taste, and we're glad that you've continued tasting
That's right.
it or something. I don't know.
Oh,
Anyhow,
there we go.
So, it's gonna be one of those. I received.
Stop saying that. Stop saying it's going to be one of those. You're putting all the pressure on me.
I received something awesome in the mail. I've been waiting for this very patiently, and it is from a soon-to-be guest, Tone Snob. So if you don't know what Tone Snob is and you're not driving, look it up. He makes custom-built pedal boards, and they are super great, super cool, super awesome, all the supers. So I ordered a black Vox Tolex style with gold piping, 12 by 24. He's got all kinds of great sizes, all kinds of fantastic customizations. He's a super good dude that is just building them on the side, but building them very, very well. And I was thrilled to hook up with him, and I'm grateful for the one that I ordered from him. So,
Where does the speaker go on that?
yeah, it's
I know.
it ain't
A
small.
built-in amp.
It's got the built-in carrying case. It's like the convertible kind of carrying case style one. It looks like a suitcase or like
a portable
I'm a
record player.
mobster with
Like a sample. You got a Tommy gun
how
in
many
there.
pedals are on your board, Todd?
on that one, none right now, but there's soon to be maybe about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, maybe close to 10,
Oh, that's wow.
something like that.
Wow.
I guess so. I don't know. Yeah, about there.
What he lacks in talent, he makes up in pedals.
You better believe it. I have to. I have to.
Hey,
do
me
it.
too, man. Those pedals really hide a lot.
They're lifesavers.
You better believe it. Anyways,
Let me ask a question.
sure.
I want to ask all of you. When it comes to reverb pedals,
Ooh.
what's your favorite reverb pedal out there?
Holy Grail.
Yeah, I
Old
mean
school.
it's tough to beat that, but there's some really good digital ones.
Soon to be on the show, Robert Keeley.
Oh,
Yep, I got the caverns, and
Yeah.
I like it a lot.
did you try that setting I told you about?
I did. It's
And-
pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I've actually, that's a question that I asked recently out on the Facebook group, and overwhelmingly everybody said the Hall of Fame, which I used to own. But you know, I like trying new stuff, so I wanted to see what else was out there, and I connected.
Have you guys?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Have you guys tried the Solid Gold Surf Rider?
No.
No, I don't think so.
Never heard of it.
But I do have a request out for them to be on the show. Solid Gold, if
Oh,
you're listening, hit me up.
They build great stuff.
Yeah.
Great stuff. And
solid.
That reverb pedal it's awesome. I love it.
The Surf Rider. I have seen it out there. But
They're as good as
I have
gold.
not played it. Yeah. So
And you can't go wrong with Keeley, like you said. Keeley
just makes really good stuff. So is that your favorite?
That's my favorite reverb pedal. Yeah.
Interesting.
The Solid Gold Surf Rider.
I got a couple more questions to ask you about your pedals.
1, 2, 1, 2, 3. 4 on the floor.
Okay, Rick of Pure Salem Guitars. Tell us what your 4 on the floor is.
Starting off my 4 on the floor, we'll just go right to the reverb, and that would be the Solid Gold Effects, the Surf Rider. I think it's a beautiful sounding reverb, real deep, lush, vintage sounds come out of it. I think it's beautiful.
Is it like a spring based?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it has 3 different settings. I have 2 of them, and they have 3 different settings. Like you get reverb, and more reverb. And if you like playing all that psych stuff, which I
Yeah,
love,
I
that,
do too.
13-4 elevator kind of stuff, it
Sure.
just drown it in that, and it sounds glorious.
Awesome.
I think the next thing would be my Alter Ego 4 pedal.
Okay.
It's got so many delays on there, and they're all really good. It's a lot of fun. You know, you could spend hours just tweaking the thing and finding out cool tones. So I like that one a lot.
Is that something you've had for a while, or?
Yeah, I've had that for a while. I've tried other delay pedals, and I like that one the best because it has a good variety of different delays.
Yeah, the more the better.
It has one of those old Copycat, I think they were called. It was an English
WEM,
tape.
WEM. I think was the main.
Yeah, I believe it was called a Copycat.
Copycat. Yeah.
Yeah, that thing sounds really good. I like that. Are you guys familiar with a company called Big Knob?
Big Knob? No.
No.
It feels like we should, though. Jeez. I'm
Yeah, that's a
sitting
great
across
name,
from
right?
2 of them.
Hey.
Well, Big Knob is a company. I don't know much about them, but I do know that they make like clones of like vintage pedals,
Okay.
Oh.
and their graphics are really cool. A lot of the pedals nowadays look like, I read this somewhere, I thought it was perfect, like a drunk clown threw up on them. This is like it's silver. It has cute little graphics on it, and the one that I like the best from them is it's called the Color Jumbo, and it's a Tone Bender Fuzz clone, like a 1974 Tone Bender Fuzz clone. And I just think it sounds amazing. And the best part about it is it's really affordable. I've owned some pretty expensive fuzz pedals, and this thing smokes them, and it's really inexpensive.
That's always a good deal.
Yeah, you can't go
Inexpensive's
wrong
good.
when it's inexpensive and good, right?
And good.
The good's got to be
And-
there.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, this sounds really good. You can't. Every pedal I have from that company sounds really good.
Big Knob. I'll have to check it out.
Yeah, let's check
Or where are
But
they made?
They're made somewhere here in America, I believe.
Okay.
But I don't know too much about them. But this one particular pedal just sounds, to me, sounds fantastic.
Awesome. Number 4.
I don't know the name of the pedal. I bought it off eBay.
Okay.
It's a cheap Chinese fuzz pedal.
Okay.
You guys may have seen it. I believe it's a ZVEX clone.
Okay.
It has a red elephant on it. It's a black box with a red elephant on it.
Box
And
with
it's
a
supposed
red
to be like, I
elephant.
think it's a woolly mammoth clone.
Okay.
I've never played the Zvex woolly mammoth, so I don't know. But this cheap Chinese pedal can get the most obnoxious, awesome, crazy sounding fuzz tones. I love it. It's built like a tank. I don't know how they make any money.
And you don't know what the brand is?
Well, he said he didn't know.
Well, I'm asking him twice.
Nope. Oh yeah, I do. I'm looking at it right now. It's made by Little Bear. It's
Little
BS1.
Bear. Okay.
Hey, Little Bear.
I don't know. All
It's
right,
not
that's
Big
cool.
Bear.
No.
No, not Big Bear, Little Bear. But if you find it on eBay, buy it. I mean, I got mine for like 20 something, $30.
Wow. Okay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and it's awesome. So I'm a fuzz guy,
Oh, me
a
too. I
reverb,
like
a delay,
it
and some
fuzz.
fuzz, and I'm good to go.
That's an interesting 4. I like that. Those are 4 we haven't really heard before.
Yeah,
totally.
yeah.
There we
Yeah,
go.
we're gonna have to check out that
The elephant fuzz.
Gold Surfer.
All of them.
Yeah, Surf
Silver
Rider.
Surfer?
Surf Rider.
Now you should do a guilty pleasure fuzz, or not a guilty pleasure fuzz, a guilty pleasure pedal. Do your 4 on the floor because everybody has that one pedal that maybe doesn't get a lot of respect.
Yep.
But you really love.
Yep.
I got to give love to my Electro Harmonics metal muff
There you go.
with the top boost.
Okay, you know what? We're going to throw, just for you, I'm going to throw that one in there.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You bet. What do you love about that pedal?
Oh, I'm 48, and when I plug that thing in, I'm 17, 18-year-old again, and I could play my Anthrax riffs.
Oh, nice.
So yeah.
Let's get on to the big reason you're here. We want to hear about your story, the Pure Salem story. And, I've mentioned a couple times, I was really excited to get you on. I think you've got a really fantastic line. And as I mentioned, I actually got to play them all. And unfortunately, when we have luthiers, it's a little tougher to, when we have pedal builders, they typically will send us their pedals so we can try them out and everything. It's a little tougher to do that with guitars. So we have to take it on word or recommend or, what we see on YouTube. Rarely do we get to play the entire line. And I had that extreme fortune at NAMM. I was really, really impressed. And I had to say, doggone it, I got to try harder to get this guy on. The funny thing is, I think you had responded to one of our posts and I said, check your messages, man.
Oh, I know.
And you said, I didn't even know these are here.
That's how bad I am when it comes to that was a long time ago, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I sent the first one a long time ago.
I was new to the whole social media thing and still learning it.
Yeah.
But yeah. Where did you, was it at the Summer NAMM show that just
It was
passed?
at Summer NAMM, yeah. At Pedal Alley, I guess it was being called.
That was curated by Grant from Big Ear.
Yes, that's correct.
He does an excellent job. That guy and his partner Karen, those two always deliver a top-notch booth. I mean, besides their pedals being awesome, just they are so meticulous in their design and having everything match and functioning. And those are two people you need to have on the show. Grant's a great guy.
Yep.
And that booth is amazing. He puts together an amazing booth.
Yeah, and to be clear, for those who aren't familiar with it, it isn't just one booth. He organized, it was called, kind of dubbed Pedal Alley because there were, oh gosh, I don't know, maybe 10 builders, maybe more than that. It's hard to, I mean, there were so many pedals you couldn't even see straight. And I spent, I don't know, 2.5 hours just in that space alone, trading out each of your guitars and playing all the different pedals. And they were all headphone based, which was great. So I could actually hear what was going on. And you didn't have the self-conscious sort of like, oh, great, I got to plug in and play, and everybody's going to listen and be like, that guy's not very good, which surely would have happened.
Oh, of course. That's why I don't go on that's why I stay away from forums, because there's always someone that will talk crap about a pretty sunset. I mean,
that's
forums
an
are
interesting
deadly.
way to put that. Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
Anyhow, so let's get in and talk about where, who you are, how you got started, and how you ended up now. So first of all, I know Jared has a pressing question.
Yeah, so how did you come up with the name Pure Salem.
You guys are going to be so disappointed. Every time somebody asks me this, I feel like, God, maybe I should have picked another name because they have this like build up, like, ooh, what is it? What is it? I was reading a book by Dean Koontz. He used the term, one of the characters used the term Pure Salem, describing a real creepy, macabre situation they were in.
Oh, that's
And
Salem Witchcraft.
Yeah.
And it was about getting ready where I needed to come up with a name for the company. My last name is Sell, and I didn't want to do the typical sell guitar, sell guitars. How, really, that would be terrible, right?
or perfect.
Rick sell guitars.
Right. Yeah. Sell guitars.
Yeah.
I like the term. I was going to use it as like a song title or something. I put out a bunch of crappy records a while back. So anyways, I was going to use it as a song, and then I had to name the company, and I thought, you know what? It's different, and that's why I went with it, because it's different. I try to be different. When I first started with the marketing and the imagery, it was very different than most companies do. Like I was using a lot of like psychedelic imagery. Even placing ads in Premier Guitar Magazine, my ad would be like some weird psychedelic picture of something, and not even a guitar picture in the ad. So I try to, maybe not the best marketing technique, but just try to be different.
I can appreciate that. You gotta figure out how to stand out in a crowd, and at least at bare minimum have a voice that's unique enough to beg to be heard.
Yeah, to be honest, at this point in my life, I'm not too concerned about selling 1 million guitars. If we sell them, if we sell a lot, we sell a lot. If we don't, we don't. As far as like you were saying, standing out in the crowd, and this to me is not. It's a business, but appreciating my life and enjoying my life and having fun with the time remaining in my life. I'm 48 years old, and I started the company 5 years ago. I did something before this for a long time. So, and what I did before this made me realize that life is short, and I didn't want to have regrets. And so, I'm not trying to reinvent the wheel. I just want to enjoy my life and do something that I'm happy doing, and that's where I'm at.
Well, no, who's going to argue with that?
I'm not gonna.
No, nobody's going to argue with that. That's a good mentality, because you know what that does? That lets you be cool, lets you go with the flow, and I think people can appreciate that.
I hope so. I mean, there's no pressure. You know what I mean? I dealt with pressure for 21 years, and I dealt with the day-to-day grind that.
What did you do for that long, if you don't mind me asking?
I was a police officer here in Miami.
Oh wow. Okay,
that's pressure.
Yeah, it was a fun job. When you're young, it's fun. I can't say that it wasn't. I worked with great guys, and we had a great time, and it was a lot of fun. But at the end, it becomes a job like anything else. And,
sure.
And the BS that you're dealing with, I should have been a fireman. Let me put it that way. Nobody everybody loves the fireman. Nobody loves the police. And all you see all day was, I was just dealing with negativity, and I worked in a real rough part of town for most of my career. I liked working there, and it was just constant negativity,
Yeah.
And now I'm doing stuff like this, talking to you guys and meeting creative people and people that are happy, because I've never ran into anyone at the NAMM show or at a Guitar Center or a Sam Hatch or at the local music shop that's in a bad mood.
Yeah.
We love this stuff.
Yeah.
We're geeks about this stuff. we're passionate about this stuff, and it's really, really refreshing for me. It kind of saved my life, to be honest.
Hey, welcome to this
That is
side of
awesome.
it, man. I was a military police officer in the Army for a little bit, and I had just enough to where I knew that's not what I wanted to do. There was a lot of things I opened my eyes to, and just told me, hey, no, this isn't you. Just go do something that you really want to do for the rest of your life. So that's what I did. So welcome to this side of the world, man.
It's nice. I like it. It's a weird profession because police officers tend to hang out with police officers.
Yeah.
It gets to that point. And then what do? You go to a party, or and then you start talking about police crap. And it's like, I don't want to do with that. I got tired of it.
Yeah.
And it's not any fault of them or me. It's just,
That's what you do. You talk about
Yeah, that's what you do.
what you're familiar
Right.
with. Well, we're talking
Right.
about guitar crap. Woohoo!
So the change was great.
Yeah.
I'm super thrilled, and like I said, I'm not. I just at this point in my life, I just want to have a good time.
Well, good,
Good for
man.
you.
Well, congratulations, and I think
thank you.
you certainly picked something to do it well at. You
Thanks.
have your guitars are smoking. If whoever's listening and you haven't gone to Pure Salem yet, go check it out real quick on Instagram and or on the web, so you can get familiar while we're discussing these. And if you can't right now, just do it as fast as you can. Run to the bathroom and pretend you're on a break or something. I don't know. Don't do it in the bath. That's never sorry. Okay, so we got through your name. That's great. That's a solid name. It's a good story. We'll go with that. So how did you actually get, what gave you the big music bug?
My father is from Wisconsin. He grew total Happy Days vibe, you know? My father was Richie Cunningham. He has a little bit of the Fonz too. He was into cars and stuff, but he had an uncle in Chicago who was a DJ in the 50s. My father inherited an incredible record collection.
Wow.
So I remember my parents divorced when I was young. I would go on the weekends to see my father. It was a cool divorce. My mom and dad are cool people. They did everything the right way. And I would go to my dad's house and we would listen to records. And that's when I first got exposed to music. It was which is kind of cool in a way because I experienced music from its original source. Like I wasn't listening to Journey on Styx on the radio in 1980. I was listening to Little Richard, Jerry Lee Lewis, those kind of guys. I remember the first time I heard the song Little Darling by the Diamonds. It brought tears to my eyes. That song just hit me for some reason, and that was it. I fell in love with music.
That's a great story, man.
Cool.
Now we're all going to go out and make sure that we hear Little Darling after this by the Diamonds.
Oh man,
by the Diamonds.
That song that I don't know what it was about that song. I think everybody has a song that hits them, but that song was it for me.
That's awesome. I love a good story like that. Good origin story. So what was the first guitar you ever got coming out of that?
Well, after playing air guitar, tennis rackets for 2 years and begging my mom and my dad and my grandparents for a guitar, and their response was, I don't know if you guys ever got this, but you don't know how to play. I don't know how to play because I don't have one.
Yes.
So, so my grandparents, I guess I wore them down, which wasn't hard. My grandparents, I was like, I could do no wrong in their eyes, So they got me a guitar. It was a little bit of a mission because I'm left-handed. We went all over Fort Lauderdale to all the little music. This was before Guitar Center and
Right.
Sam Ash, and so there were still the mom and pop shops.
Good old days.
Yeah, which they're kind of coming back now. So, anyways, back then we found I think it was a '74 Gibson SG, and it was like $375.
Yes.
So that was my first guitar.
And it was a lefty?
It was, yeah, it was a
Wow.
Was it a special, a standard?
lefty. You know what? I don't remember. I was young, and then I went through a phase where kind of liked Run DMC, and I stopped playing guitar.
We all did. It's fine.
But then I got back into it, and then it was just a revolving door of guitars. I was always buying and
You got
swapping
hooked.
and
You got
buying
hooked
and
early.
swapping.
Mm-hmm. Now, Run DMC did do that song with Aerosmith, Walk This Way.
Yeah.
Actually, to give them a little bit of credit, even before that, they did a song called Rock Box. And I could swear that the player Carlos Alomar was on that. I think he played with Bowie. But if you ever heard that song Rock Box, it's got a killer guitar riff and it's got a solo and everything.
I'll be looking that up.
Learn a little something new every day, don't we?
Mm-hmm.
We got Little Darlings. We got Rock Box. Well, my drive home's going
Run
to be
DMC,
fantastic.
baby.
Listen, so you got the bug early. Having the bug and just limiting yourself to just getting some cool guitars is one thing. Taking the plunge into saying, I'm going to actually build some of these. Not only am I going to build some of these, I'm going to build a business out of these and make lots of them. Walk us through how that came about. I know that you already went through your story about what you were doing for quite a long time, but how does one just do what you're doing right now?
You know how that happens? By the power of punk rock.
Yes.
That's how that happens.
I love it.
Half Japanese, David and Jad Fair taught me what school didn't teach me, and that was that you could have the gumption and the guts to do something, you can do it. Half Japanese came out with a record. Their first, well, they came out with like a 7-inch, but their first real record was a 3 vinyl set. They didn't know how to play their instruments, but that didn't stop them. These guys had the gonads the size of Montana. I mean, they just decided they were going to do it, and they did it. I remember being a kid, and I got into the music. I fell in love with the band, their DIY attitude. I saw a documentary called Another State of Mind. Have you guys seen that?
Yeah, that's so good.
It's amazing.
It is so great.
The Stern brothers are in a band called Youth Brigade.
Yep.
And those guys put together a tour in the whole 9 yards, but it was a DIY tour, and the tour turns into a disaster. But they should show that at school to show what you can do.
For
if
real.
you put your mind to it.
I mean, if you just think about Mike from Social Distortion,
Yeah.
right there, like you watch one of the greatest punk rock songs ever written come to life through this experience.
Yeah. With
And
his Joan
you-
Jett sticker on
man,
the guitar.
So great.
Remember that?
So great.
So punk rock, half Japanese and punk rock bands, and that documentary taught me that I could do something if I wanted to do it.
Right on.
Now I just had to have the courage to do it. Because of my job that I was in, the last 5 years I was miserable, super depressed, very unhappy. You know, I'm working in a pretty rough part of town. There's a lot of violence. I've seen people, you know, a lot of dead people and stuff. And I thought, man, life is short. I'm unhappy. I'm really unhappy. And I had a friend pass away. The guy name was Larry Bennett. He works. This is how life is, right? He works 30 years on the job. He's set to retire. He's like a father figure to me. We meet for breakfast every morning. We have breakfast. He's getting on his bicycle to go meet his wife. The guy was super active. Rode bicycle, jumped out of airplanes. He was a great guy. Has a massive heart attack on the way to go meet his wife. So there go 30 years on the job. He didn't get to enjoy a day of retirement.
Wow.
That day I came home and I told my wife, I'm done. I quit. I'm going to quit. I wanted to do this, and I just jumped into the deep end of the pool, and I made a lot of mistakes. But I did it. You know,
That's
and
awesome.
here I am. Yeah.
We're so glad
Thank
that
you.
you did, man, for real. And you are speaking my language. I love a good punk rock story, man. I'm a punk rock guy at heart. I love that. You jumped deep dive in and you made a lot of mistakes. How does one begin to do that? Like, get us through that.
Well, when you don't know anybody in the industry and you go on Alibaba to look for a guitar manufacturer, you know that's not a good start.
Sure.
But I was so gung ho and so motivated that I just did it. You know, I didn't say like, oh, I'm gonna join NAMM and I'm gonna go to the NAMM show and I'm gonna try to meet somebody. No, I just went online and I found somebody and he promised me the world and delivered firewood.
Oh boy.
So my first experience was not a good one, but I recovered from that. I met a gentleman from Korea. He's a well-respected guy, and he decided, and a lot of these companies, they want like high MOQs and stuff like that.
What's an MOQ?
So minimum order quantity.
Okay.
I couldn't do that. You know, I'm a regular guy. I'm not a corporation. I don't have, you know, hundreds of thousands of dollars. So he worked with me, and I had my very first manufacturer that I worked with. I was with them for 1 year, and I wasn't happy with the quality. I was having to fix the guitars a lot during setup, you know, when I was setting them up. So our first year of guitars, if you notice, sometimes you might see a Pure Salem guitar that has the words Pure Salem written on them, on the headstocks.
Mm-hmm.
Those are from our first year. I wasn't happy with the quality. I'm always looking to improve. I did go to the NAMM show, and I had a meeting with a company, same company that builds for Reverend Guitars. And a few others, which shall remain nameless. But I say Reverend because Reverend makes that.
Well, they're pretty open about it.
They're pretty open about it. So am I. I put it on the website.
Yeah.
I wouldn't change my manufacturer for the world. You know, they're gonna have to kick me out of there, kicking and screaming. I'm very, very happy with them.
Yeah, I have a Reverend, and they have a really good setup guy, It's a great guitar. I get it out every day. So
Yeah.
just to reinforce what you're saying.
Thank you. Yeah, no, they're great, and they're great people to deal with. So I remember going to the show with my wife, and I was like sweating for the meeting. You know, I was really worried. When they agreed to work with me, I was on cloud nine. A big concern was out of the way. You know, like I knew that they built quality instruments. So from that point on, it's been a blast. You know,
I mean, few people are able to lock into something that early that works well. That's the one good thing that happened for you, for sure. How about your design? I mean, you've got some really outstanding designs. I'm personally really partial to La Flaca. I love the La Flaca.
Thanks. A lot of that stems from me being a lefty, like a frustrated lefty.
No kidding.
Because, you know, a lot of those old retro guitars from the 60s, the real funky ones, they never made them in a lefty. You know, I get this, it's a compliment. People give it to me as a compliment, and I take it as a compliment. They say that our guitars are different. They're a little bit out there, but yet still very familiar.
Yeah, they're not too far.
Right. They're like on the border, you know, like, well, you know, and they're not for everybody. You know, some guitars are not going to be for everybody.
Sure.
And for the most part, which is something that I learned when I started this, is that guitar players, we're really conservative. You know, we're very traditional. We may have long hair, and well, I don't have any hair, but you know, at one point we had long hair, and you know, we wear the chain belts and the leather jackets. And when it comes to the guitars, you know, it's a Tele, a Les Paul, and a Strat. We're very conservative.
Most still, even the ones that are pushing things, that's you can always trace it back to usually to the roots of those early ones.
Sure. Well, they were there. They created the iconic guitars. You know, they were fortunate enough to be around when rock and roll was, you know, getting its legs.
And recently you came out with the Levitation. That's a recent one, right?
The Levitation. No, the Levitation is like our teardrop shape. No, that's been in the lineup since day one.
Really? I did not know that. Okay, that's my bad.
One of my favorite guitars. That one, and
that was a really nice guitar to play, man.
Thank you.
Legit.
Thanks. Yeah, it's cool. I mean, but that's another one of those shapes that you either love it or hate it, you know? I
was one of the people who was like, I looked at it and I kept looking at it. I was like, I'm not going to like this. And then I picked it up and I said, oh, I like it. It had such great balance. I guess that's the thing when I look at that. For those of you who don't know what we're talking about, it's the Levitation is reminiscent of the Vox teardrop, but it's almost like a cross between Tony, what's that a cross between?
It's got the extra horn on it.
It's got like a curved horn in front instead of a teardrop.
It's like a horny teardrop.
Right. Something like that. It's like an offset. You know what? It's like an offset teardrop.
Yeah,
that's what it is.
That's a better way to put it.
It is a really cool guitar. It is unique looking. It has fantastic balance. I was really surprised by that.
Well, I think the upper horn does add to the balance, because if you've ever played a teardrop,
headstock heavy, right? Yeah, like an SG.
Yeah,
you've got some really interesting shapes. I think what you seem to be doing well, if you don't mind me kind of projecting on you really quick, is
as long as it's good.
Yeah, no, for sure. Like you mentioned, we tend to gravitate towards the things we know. We like to push the bounds, though. And your guitars are definitely pushing familiar shapes, but in unique ways. I think that you have a defined look. Like you can look at a guitar, not even see the headstock, and I bet you most people could point out, like any people that are familiar with the boutique guitar industry at least could say, pretty sure that's a Pure Salem.
Yeah, that's the goal, right? That's like a guitar player having his signature tone.
Yep. And you have that in your headstocks too. You carved out your particular headstock look that you put on everything with a kind of almost like a fat, what is it? What would you call that? A fat German carve, a fat bevel?
Kind of like a Starcaster, isn't it?
Yeah, we have a headstock that's in the Starcaster vein, and then our 3-on-3 is a more original.
Yeah, it's got like a German carved scoop out of it or something like that.
Yeah, we get a lot of compliments on that.
Yeah,
I love it. I think it's I think it's a cool headstock.
Are you constantly pushing to new designs, or do you feel like your stable of designs are kind of there right now, and you're going to sit there for a while, or?
No, I always have a new guitar that I want to come out with.
Nice.
Yeah, I think I'm going to start thinning the herd, because I've only been doing this for 5 years. A lot of people don't know who we are, and I'm still trying to figure out because it is a business, and I'm still trying to figure out what sells and what doesn't.
Mm-hmm.
So I have models that are consistent sellers, and those are going to be, they're going to stay in the lineup. And then I have others that maybe they don't sell as well, but they sell. Well, maybe I'll make way for newer models, and those will fall by the wayside, or I could do like limited runs of them, stuff like that.
Right.
I'm still trying to figure out what sticks. Like our Classic Creep, when we first came out with the Classic Creep model, we had it in some gold and dark green and blue, and they sold really well. And then I had the great idea to put sparkle colors on them. Mm-hmm. And it was like somebody threw a wrench in the machine. It just, I couldn't, for a while, I couldn't give one away. And then it's funny, I was talking to a guy who owns a music store. He goes, sparkle colors never sell. Like, I guess Gretsch is the only one that can sell sparkle colors and do it well, because it took me a long time to sell those. And now we're back to solid colors. We just came out with a new version of the Classic Creep, and
that's sort of like if I can describe for the listeners who can't see that, it's kind of like, it reminds me of a really psychedelic Burns Buffalo.
Yeah.
If Salvador Dali made it.
if it had sat out in the Miami sun for a few hours.
It's another one of those love it or hate it shapes.
I love it.
Yeah, but if you're doing that sort of like acid psych rock, man, I mean, that's your guitar right there.
I mean, you can use the horns as a weapon.
Yeah.
I like
it. It's cool. I like it too.
Let's not forget about the Bruiser, your take on a Flying V. That is a handsome guitar, my man.
Oh, well, thank you. That was made in response to, basically that was me being my childish reaction to some nasty cease and desist letters I got.
Oh,
welcome to the biz.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that was very eye-opening to see how that all went down, and like, oh, why me? You know? It was kind of neat that the 800-pound gorilla in the room took notice of me.
For sure.
And that's what I felt the first time I got one. I was like, oh wow, I made it.
Yeah. I framed it. Yeah, nothing came of it.
Nah.
So I was like, oh really? Okay. Well, no, I'm gonna.
Yeah.
Here you go.
So we mentioned my favorite, which is the La Flaca. I'm just gonna talk about that one real quick. Why don't we choose that one as like, let's do a deep dive on your components, your materials, that sort of thing. The La Flaca is
apparently Todd, the 800-pound gorilla in the room, Gibson Guitars, thought that was a Gibson SG, and sent me a letter over that.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
But you can still get them, right? Yeah.
Yeah. We still make them.
Yeah, that's good. All right. I am not a fan of SGs. Now, it's not that I don't,
It's just the look that he's not fond of.
No, it isn't. Actually, I do like the look. I don't like the playability. They don't play well for me. I'm not that guy.
Weird.
So when I saw the La Flaca, I was like, well, that's kind of like an SG, and I know, I don't get along with those very well. But then I picked it up, and it didn't feel like that at all. It was very well balanced, and actually felt a little bit more like my special, like my Les Paul special, but with a bigger body. So I was like, oh, that's interesting. The German carve on it is super cool. That's technically a German carve, is it not?
Yeah.
The German carve follows the body. It really is. It's a super sexy guitar, and I love that you have a humbucker in the bridge, and you've got a single coil tilted at an angle in the front. I thought that was really unique. Every little aspect of the guitar, you've taken something familiar and you've kind of just moved it to the left or to the right a little bit. Even the knob positioning was unique. It was reminiscent of an old Junior, which I thought was super cool. This started to remind me actually of Joan Jett's guitar, which I'm a fan of. So there's Melody Maker in there too. You have sort of the tuxedo style black or block inlays, which dresses it up real nice. So you got your classic, the Pure Salem carved out 3-on-3 headstock. This is a slamming guitar, man.
Yeah, thank you. I like that guitar a lot too. That's one of the ones that it's a really cool guitar. I'm glad you like it.
Yeah, well,
I have fun. I have fun putting these together and figuring out what's going to work and what's not. That one, obviously, to me and to you, worked.
Yeah, for sure. It's a good rocking guitar. It's not all guitars when you pick them up you can say. Well, actually, let me back that up. Most guitars say, I play this kind of music, right? Or I play this kind of music. This one, I think, spans a lot of different kinds of music, which I really like. Like, I could totally see somebody who's deep into country playing this. I could totally see an acid rocker playing it. I could see a punker playing it. Whatever kind of thing you think you are, that's particular one that I responded well to, clearly. So I'm going to be quiet about that and not sway this conversation too much further. But I would like to know about some of the appointments that you have on it. What kind of fingerboard are you using?
That has a rosewood board on it, but because of the CITES stuff that's going on,
can you explain that really quickly for those who may not know what that is?
CITES, it's an organization that meets every, I believe, 4 or 5 years. I may not get this 100% correct, but they deemed that rosewood was becoming scarce and endangered, a certain type of rosewood. But they kind of did like a blanket solution to the problem. They're like, no rosewood. You can't use any rosewood anymore. So if you had guitars that in your stockpile that had rosewood, you had to contact the Fish and Wildlife. You had to do a whole bunch of paperwork and have your stuff like authorized that you had it before the CITES agreement, this and that. You can't have guitars, for someone who's making guitars now, you can't have rosewood on your guitars. And it really affected not only the music industry, but like the auto industry, the furniture industry. It was a big deal. So that one that you played has rosewood. All future models that we're going to do are going to have ebony boards. I like ebony. I like rosewood. I'm not big on maple fretboards, fingerboards. So rosewood and now we're moving to ebony.
Well, all right. I like an ebony board myself. I'm a fan of those. Tony, what do you think?
Yeah, it depends on the guitar and the pickups. I mean, I find ebony tends to make it darker sounding.
Yes.
In addition to darker looking too.
Yeah. I like the uniformity in it.
Yeah, I mean, there's
mostly.
There's some that's figured too.
Sure.
Yeah, I love rosewood. I don't know. It's what I guess grew up on. I don't know.
Yeah, that's fair.
It's going to be interesting to see, 50 years from now, that guitar has a rosewood neck. That's not going to jack the price up.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's hard to say.
Well,
if you're allowed to buy them.
Well, actually, what'll happen is all these rosewood trees will just keep growing and growing, and more will grow, and then they'll have an overabundance of rosewood, and they can't get rid of it.
All they really have to do is just rename it.
Right.
Yeah,
Call it something other than rosewood.
Right. Yeah, tulip wood. There you go, tulip wood.
Yeah. I kind of had a question. I noticed that most, if not all of your line have, is it dual truss rods and everything?
Yeah.
So how did, I know there's obviously Guilds and Rickenbackers have had dual truss rods. Is that kind of the inspiration behind that? Or what do you find? I mean, do you find that it corrects some issues or potential problems?
I think it's just an extra step towards maintaining the guitar. Mm-hmm. If you take it to the tech, it just offers, if you set up your own guitars or you have a tech set up your guitars, it just offers them another tool to get the job done quicker.
Yeah.
Awesome. What kind of wood are you using? Sort of using different woods for the bodies, or is using kind of going
everything? I keep it pretty much the same. Every guitar is, with the exception of one, is mahogany. And
nice.
the only exception is one model of our wood sole. All our other wood soles are mahogany, but there's one that comes in a natural, and that alder.
Okay, gotcha. And just so everybody understands, we've only mentioned like I think 2 or 3 guitars, but he's got 17 different models that
That's
I
it?
counted. Is there more than that?
No.
Okay, yeah. So that's a lot of models. And actually, it's 16.
too many.
Yeah, counting. I think you have the La Flaca hardtail and then the regular one with the Bigsby on it. Everybody out there, go check out Pure Salem Guitars. These are rippingly good guitars. You will love playing them. I guarantee it.
Yep.
I don't have anything to back up. That is a non-legal guarantee. So, I don't know. Yeah, exactly. But definitely go check it out. Obviously, Rick's a solid dude, and he's really passionate about these guitars. So anytime you,
I fooled you guys.
Jared, we're gonna mosey on into.
Would you rather?
I don't why with the Leslie thing. Just
Because that's just the way
He's
it
trying,
goes.
he's trying to pan stereo.
It's the way it
Yeah,
goes.
I know.
So
Okay.
would you rather, folks? So you're walking down the street, you come across an estate sale. Some old guy recovered 2 different Fender Tweeds,
little tiny amps.
That's
little
right.
tiny old awesome amps.
and they sound like.
But he took the
awesomeness.
tweed off. That's like
Why would he take
blasphemy.
the tweed off?
Well, I'll tell you why.
Why do you do that?
Because one amp,
Uh-huh.
he
That's not why.
Well, he let him go with it.
Okay.
Don't enter. He's going to lose his mind.
that's okay. I will when I say it was covered with Beatles fan clippings.
Okay.
Okay.
Wait. So he did like a decoupage.
A decoupage.
A decoupage.
That's right, with Beatles fan clippings.
So that's when you put clippings and then you put glue all over it, so
That's
it like
right.
makes
Today's word is decoupage.
it decoupage.
decoupage, Beatles decoupage, and then the other tweed
Yes.
he had, it was a little different, but not.
Don't tell me he took the tweed off of that too.
He did,
Oh,
and he added Rolling Stone magazine cover
Of
of.
the Rolling Stones? Did I
No.
get? Yes, that is what he chose. Oh my gosh.
could you believe he did that?
It was
Crazy.
the Rolling
so
Stones.
he took Rolling
Sounds
Stones
awesome.
covers of the Rolling Stones.
and not Stones Rolling, the actual Rolling Stones.
The Rolling
Wow.
Stones. So you're telling me this guy has 2 authentic Fender tweeds that are both missing the tweeds, but one's covered in Rolling Stone magazine's covers of Rolling Stones,
Decoupaged.
decoupaged, and a Beatles fan clippings one?
That's right.
This is insane. Tony, who are you going to choose?
My head is ready to explode.
I know, mine too.
I just,
What's a decoupage?
what's
Well,
a decoupage?
wait, man, we just went over that, but you saw it. You
I know
told us
it.
about it.
I'm just kidding.
Okay, good. So decoupage, let's just clarify. That's paper that has been placed on wood or other material
down
that has
and then
been
covered in
painted
glue.
over in glue.
You can
So
do
it's
this at home,
clear.
folks.
It's kind of like lacquer.
you
To
take
your own 50s tweeds.
no, you take
Don't do that.
you take Elmer's glue
Yep.
and thin it down.
Yep.
And then you can brush
You
it on
paint
top.
it right over it,
And that's a decoupage.
so it's clear.
That's awesome.
Yes,
It
it's
turns
permanent.
clear.
Gonna
This
do
is
that
very
to all my
permanent.
amps.
yeah.
Okay, Tony,
you'll
what are you
never take
choosing?
it off. I'm going to take the Beatles.
Shocker.
Yeah, it is a shocker.
Yeah.
But as much as I love the Stones, I mean that's
Yeah.
It's gotta be-
the
it's gotta
Beatles
be
one.
the Beatles.
Okay, I get it.
The Rolling
although I do like
Stones.
it is clever that he chose to take Rolling Stone magazine
Yes,
covers
the Rolling
with
Stones.
the Rolling Stones.
It is
on there.
clever. He was a very clever
This
man
is
for
a
thinking of
clever
that.
guy.
Yes.
Yeah.
Jared, what are you choosing?
I'm going to take the Beatles.
Okay.
It was my dad's group. That's why he started
Your
playing
dad was in the
guitar.
Beatles?
That's amazing.
Oh.
Okay.
He listened to the Beatles when he was a kid.
Yeah.
So he told me stories about it. So that's why I'm picking it. That's
Rick,
why.
what are you choosing?
The Velvet Underground.
Yeah.
No, I'll go with the Rolling Stones.
Okay.
Hey.
I'm with you on that one, man. If I'm playing some rock and roll loud rock and roll out of that little amp, I want it to be the Stones.
Associated with the Stones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. That was a fun one, wasn't it? It was it was a short on the back end, but long on the front.
And it always comes back to the Stones versus the Beatles.
Yeah.
That's right.
Just like Beatles and Stones. Just like the Oasis song. I'm just saying. Okay. Hey, Rick, where can people find your stuff?
All right.
www.puresalemguitars.com.
And on Instagram, right?
Oh yeah, and all the regular social media stuff.
For sure.
Platforms. Hey guys, if the new guitar bug bites you and you are interested in getting a Pure Salem Guitars, just message me, get a hold of me through email or DM me on Instagram. Let me know that you want to get a guitar and mention the word decoupage.
No, that's impossible.
They have to spell it correctly.
Or guitar knobs. Remember,
Guitar knobs, yes. Let's go to guitar knobs.
Just get a hold of me. Mention that you heard the show on guitar knobs, and I'll take $200 off the list price.
Holy mackerel!
Wow.
So just get a hold of me.
Dude, that is.
You got it.
Thank you so much.
Wow, that's very generous.
I'm constantly amazed when this kind of thing happens. I truly am.
You're very welcome. Thank you for having me on. I mean, I'm honored to be on the show.
Oh, man.
You.
I'm so the back of my head, the neck hairs are like kind of standing up a little bit. Like, honestly, I do have some left.
All right.
I'm with Rick there probably. Rick, that is incredibly generous. I thank you for offering that to our audience. Everybody.
Oh, my pleasure.
Get out there, give Rick a holler, get your deal. Use the guitar knobs as the code word for that. However you need to do that, and get one of these strapped around your neck because they're really great guitars for real. Thank you so much for that offer, Rick.
You're welcome.
Tony,
You're pointing at me.
Where can they find you?
Well, they could find me at my website, which is pickguardian.com. And let's just say you're looking for custom material, custom pickup cuts, whatever.
Uh-huh.
Just drop me a line. I'm
Cool.
sure we can work something out. You can also check out some of the projects I've been talking about on Instagram. I usually post some works in progress pictures there. So it's Pick Guardian and the number 1.
Awesome. Jared?
Go to BrandonWildPickups.com. We build boutique pickups. We build vintage style pickups, and we even age them to look old. We also repair pickups at a very reasonable cost and a fast turnaround. BrandonWildPickups.com, Instagram, Facebook, all that good stuff.
Yeah, right on. Tony, you got one last thing to do before we say goodbye to our friend Rick.
I do.
Okay.
I need to thank some very, very important people.
Okay.
If you go to patreon.com /decoupage.
No,
Please, /
the
guitar knobs. Sorry, I got all hung up on decoupaged. You can find out how you can become a patron. And we have various tiers, and not the kind that you cry, but the kind that you climb.
Right. But the ones that we're going to talk about today are...
Well, I want to talk a little bit more about Patreon.
Okay.
So go on there. There's great levels. You get some great prizes for becoming a patron
Stickers
of the
and
Guitar Knobs.
buttons
Stickers
and
and buttons
pins
and T-shirts and
all the stuff.
all the stuff.
Good stuff.
And one benefit to be of being an executive producer, and in addition to all that great stuff, is
You get to have your name right on the thing.
That's right.
and that's what I'm going to do right now. I'm going to read these names.
Do it.
On the thing.
Okay.
And I'm going to start with I'd like to welcome aboard Key Sayers.
Hey, welcome.
Our,
Key.
our newest Patreon.
Yes, sir. Welcome.
Welcome aboard. Also, I'd like to thank Doug Gann, Brad Partridge, Michael Van Zant, Doug Christ, Zach J. Wright, Gary Goodman, and son Beckett. Woohoo! Darren Gregory, Robert Marfleet, John Anglin, Chris Kearney. Almost got Sean in early there. Sean S. Oliver Gonzalez, John Daly, Robin Smith, Pete Marshall, Carlos Mancha, Matt Brammer, David Wolfson, Martin Cliff, and Tom Barazin.
Thank you guys so much.
Thank you.
I do want to point out that it is great to hear your names every week because we also get to talk to you during the week. Most of you, not only the ones that we read off, but we talk to so many of you during the week, either via email, via Instagram, via Facebook, via message, and you're involved in our community, and we truly appreciate it. I know that the guests that we have on do as well, and we're thankful for that. Please keep that up. What a great show. I'm so happy that we are able to do this with Rick. Rick, thank you so much for taking your time and sharing it with us.
Listen, thank you guys so much for having me on. It was an honor. I had a great time. I just want to, for those of you out there listening, and maybe you were in a situation like I was, and maybe your life is, you're kind of lost or something, and life is short. If you have a dream, you need to go for it. Even if it doesn't work out, at least you could say that you tried. The worst thing that you're ever going to have in your life is regrets. I didn't want to be on my deathbed saying I wish I would have tried. So whatever your dream is, you need to go for it, and you need to do it. And you just never know. It might work out, but you won't know unless you try. So
Excellent.
you got to try.
Couldn't
Excellent
agree more.
advice.
I mean, that is beautiful. I got the tingles. Thank you so much
Thanks
for sharing
for having
that,
me
Rick.
on, guys.
Yeah.
Thanks.
All right, everybody. Have a great guitar weekend. Subscribe. Yeah. Huh.
Yeah. Decoupage.
Yee-hoo.
Yeah. By the power of punk rock.
Well, that's it for these knobs. Please visit our Patreon page at patreon.com/theguitarknobs. Visit our website at theguitarknobs.com for all of our past episodes, 4 on the Floor blog, and other good stuff. You can connect with us on social too at our Facebook page and share your gear and stories on our Facebook group. Also, be sure to check out our Instagram at Guitar Knobs. Catch you next time.